Soulstar the producer.
So just like I mentioned before, I got Brian on here for the second half to go over waiver moves, standings, buys, week 5 recap, and also this weekend's matchups. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Sean for winning his Super Bowl, which is beating me in this league. So he actually started all of his players, had all his slots filled. So touche, I got Tom Brady, and but other than that, I'm doing well. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Your baby is looking more and more like you by the day.
Yeah, I'm hoping she grows out of it. Looks like her mother.
Oh, man. Yes, but talking about Sean's team, yeah, he actually played all of his players, and wouldn't you know, he actually won a game. So, surprise, surprise, he should probably do that more often. But anyway, so like I was mentioning before, we're going to start off with Brian in regards to waiver moves. There wasn't really that many moves that happened today. It was just Kevin picking up Wendell Smallwood and Cameron Brate, Scotty picking up Jameis Winston and the Packers defense, and then me picking up Alfred Morris. Any one of these pickups, do you think that's going to have any substantial ramifications?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jameis Winston has the potential to come back and, just slang touchdowns. He's got a lot of weapons there. I put in a bid for Wendell Smallwood myself just to take advantage of him. I don't know if he's really going to be the guy, but, Cameron Brate, who knows? I don't know. Maybe with Jameis Winston coming back, he could be a player. But, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. I think Wendell Smallwood's going to be a pretty good guy too. But it's the Phillies, running back situation that kind of sucks because you never know who's going to be a guy. Jameis Winston, he's very talented, and with his weapons, he could perform well. I picked up Alfred Morris. I don't think he's going to be amazing, but Matt Breida's hurt pretty much every other game. So he's the only show in town, at least for a couple of weeks. So I think he's going to perform okay, but nothing too crazy.
A lot of opportunities there for Freddie.
Opportunities for days. All right, so moving on to the Week 5 matchups, or the recap. The top matchups was me versus Kevin, Timmy versus Doug. I didn't see Kevin scoring that few points. Actually, I didn't see two people on this top matchups scoring as few points as they did. But, I faced Kevin. I said a couple weeks ago that Kevin's team is going to be around 125 points. I think they were around 113 this past week. I got lucky enough that James Conner blew up, as he should have, in a plus matchup. And I had another couple guys that actually had great games. I mean, am I surprised that I won? Not necessarily, but I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you got Tevin Coleman putting up 4 for you, or for Kev, Benjamin Watson. I mean, James Conner really helped you out, man, massively. And the mix, I'm a big Mixon guy, big fan. I think he's just going to have a lot of points from here on out, because I've got him in another league. But he's the guy, yeah. I mean, Zach Ertz just putting up 22. Yeah, it was close. I mean, who would have thought Mark Ingram would just run 2 touchdowns in? Now he's vulturing Alvin Kamara touchdowns. Sorry, dudes. But
sorry, I'm not sorry. Kevin's now lost 2 games in a row. He's had 2 tough matchups. But, he's going to be up there as one of the top teams by the end of the season. Just because he lost this game, or the last couple games, I don't think that's going to hurt his chances of making the playoffs at all. Now moving on to Doug versus Timmy. That
yikes. That's a
How do I
showing.
say that was bad?
Yeah, that's,
89.9 points. Couldn't even break 90. Come on, man.
I mean, you can't. Dougie has such a team where it's so much risk reward deal. So like
Well,
when he,
that fits Doug perfectly.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when he goes off, he goes way off.
Yeah.
And he shits the bed. He puts up under 90 points. So
Yeah. I mean, his top three players did have poor matchups. So going against Jacksonville, although Kelsey still had a good game statistics wise, but Tyreek was dealing with the two Jaguars corners, and although Mahomes didn't have a great fantasy game, he actually had a good real life game. That doesn't really help him out all too much in fantasy though. And then the rest of his guys just really didn't do much at all. So moving on to the other side in regards to Timmy's, Alvin Kamara. I mean, you mentioned before that Mark Ingram is stealing touches away from Kamara, but he didn't need Kamara to go off because he had Thielen. I didn't think Thielen was going to be this great. I thought like last year was a flash in the pan, and then Diggs was just going to take over. Nope.
Mr. White Lightning himself.
Yeah.
The Thielen.
Yeah, he's a stud. 100 plus yards in 5 straight games. I think he's the first player to do that since like the merger. I don't know if that's true.
He wasn't even invited to the combine. So, wow.
Yeah, and he has a great beard. Melvin Gordon, another great game. Kenyon Drake had a great game as well. It was more so just like 2 plays that he did well receiving wise. The Miami Dolphins are fucking dumpster fire. They're not good at all. So I don't expect Kenyon Drake to put up those numbers like he did this past week. But Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen, Melvin Gordon, and then he gets a great game out of Kenyon Drake. That makes Timmy's week every week. We can count on that. Doug's team, on the other hand, he's going to need some help from a couple of his guys. He did have Traquan Smith blow up. It was 3 catches, but it was 3, big catches. But it's like what you said before. He's going to have weeks where he's going to score 150 points, and he's going to have these kind of weeks. It just so happened that this happened this weekend. So, moving on to...
He's definitely light on wide receivers. That's for damn sure. He loves the rookie running backs, but yes, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll get into his team in the Week 6 matchup. But the limp dick matchup of the week was Nick versus Scotty. And Scotty's team, put up a respectable amount of points. His team has actually turned a corner from where we were, to start off the season. Nick's team, his wide receivers is what does him in every week. You get 1.3 points out of Cole Beasley. Martavis Bryant had an okay game. Willie Snead had an okay game. Jordy Nelson's probably his best wide receiver, so that's not saying much. But David Johnson and Zeke combining for over 30 points, like that's if they both don't have great games, Nick's in trouble, and that's happened more times than not so far in these matchups. And then when it comes to Scotty's team, great game out of Devontae Adams. We knew he was a player. Breida put up some points. Sammy Watkins hit double digits. Demaryius Thomas actually had a great game, even though he's terrible.
Your boy Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, my boy Sammy Watkins. That's gonna help me beat Doug in our board bet. Yeah, Scotty put up 123 points. If he puts up 123 points week in and week out, he's going to find himself in contention in most games. What do you have to say about these guys?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Nick's team and having the same record is mind-boggling to me. But yeah, I mean, he's just loaded at running back. I mean, there's nothing. He's really, I mean, he needs some help. Scotty, yeah, I don't know where. I mean, Scotty has an okay team. Obviously, Andrew Luck putting up 22 helps. He's obviously looking like he's back. We'll see against the Jets this week. But yeah, Devontae Adams goes off. Demaryius Thomas just keeps. He's like almost like the younger Larry Fitzgerald. Just like he just kind of always produces. So yeah. Kind of a turd game, but I can't really be one to speak on turd games. So.
Oh man! All right, so I think like what we said, Nick's team needs some help. Scotty's team probably needs a little bit of help, but I think he's doing okay from where we were in week 1. The other matchup was Tommy versus the Beaties. The Beaties actually went off for the most points this past week, and it wasn't because Tommy's team had a bad turnout. It was just that the Beaties team had a great turnout. They actually picked the right quarterback this week and went with Drew Brees after alternating the wrong quarterback over the last 2 weeks. And then Todd Gurley, when he puts up 3 touchdowns in a game, more times than not they're going to win. And then Christian McCaffrey, his team is those 4 players right there: Brees, Gurley, McCaffrey, and Diggs. And then Gronk as well. So that's a solid 5. It's a little surprising that their team is 2-3 at this point with those 5, key cogs of their team. And then Ebron went off for 27 points. So they got production from pretty much all their starters, minus Brandon Cooks because he got hurt. But I see the Beaties also being another team that's going to be up there in contention for the playoffs. Moving over to Tommy's side, he was waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get healthy. This is the kind of production that he's going to get out of Aaron Rodgers weekly. Sony Michel had a great game. I think Sony Michel's probably going to be an RB1, a low-end RB1, high-end RB2 for the rest of the year. DeAndre Hopkins had a DeAndre game. Robert Woods produced. He got a donut out of ASJ, but he sucks. Marvin Jones, he had 1 catch. Emmanuel Sanders probably going to perform better later on in the year, but almost 120 points. If you score 120 points, you're gonna be in contention for a matchup. He just came across the Beaties buzzsaw of 154 points this past week. What do you think?
Yeah, Sony Michel is gonna really help him out. Yeah, man. I mean, Robert Woods is a guy who's really produced extremely well. I mean, obviously he's in that high-powered offense of the Rams, but yeah, man. I mean, these guys both had goose eggs on their teams, and they're almost at 120. Yeah, I mean, imagine if Brandon Cooks dropped a touchdown. I mean, this would be really high. The Beaties have a really good team. Gurley's put up crazy numbers: 22, 30, 22, 23, 31. That's just his first 5 games. Unbelievable. Gurley gets the rock, and he just scores touchdowns. Yeah, man. Really, really good team. I can't believe that they're 2-3. But as we'll see with the next, matchup, there's some teams that are not what they say they should be.
So speaking of that matchup, saving the best matchup.
Was that a good podcast segue? Did that just happen?
That just happened.
Who needs Doug? You know what I mean? Not as funny, but we get shit done.
Correct. Yeah, this is going to be under a 50-minute, just second half because Doug won't go on a monologue. But I digress.
Well, in fairness, I believe it's both of you, but I'm a more straight shooter kind of guy.
Yeah, and I'm a little biased.
For me. Yeah.
So Brian versus Sean. You mentioned this before. This was Sean's Super Bowl, but he did get great production out of 4 guys, and they kind of just went off on your face. James White, Tom Brady, Odell, and TJ Yeldon. that's
Tough.
it's going to be hard to to beat a team when they score 138 points. That might be one of Sean's better scoring weeks, but he actually does have a good team. JJ just got hurt, so his running back situation is right back to where it was at the beginning of the season. But when his wide receivers are healthy, and Edelman, Tate, Odell, Doug Baldwin, he only had one catch for 1 yard, which is terrible, but that's probably not going to happen more times than not. But Sean's got a pretty good team. But when it comes to your side, I still think that you have the better talent on your squad. It's just production. That's the problem. Carson Wentz is a great quarterback. Kareem Hunt, you should expect RB1 numbers from Kareem Hunt from here on out, even though he had a slow start. LaShawn McCoy still looks like LaShawn McCoy. And also, I think there's rumors that he's going to go back to the Eagles in a trade because it only makes sense. Antonio Brown finally had an AB game. Michael Thomas has slowed down a little bit, but even on his down weeks, he's almost scoring 10 points. Jarvis Landry, almost 10 points. Your team is, it still is one of the more talented teams of this league. So it's just been a tough start for your team, but I think it'll turn around sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it was tough sledding. I mean, obviously the Thursday night game, he had Tom Brady put up 27, Edelman 9, and then who else did he have? James White 18. So I wasn't thinking. I woke up Friday morning. I was like, yeah, that's a little much, but yeah, I mean Carson starting to score more points. I don't know if he's settling in. He doesn't really. I don't know. I don't really know if he has anybody really that he loves to throw to. So yes, like you said, LaShawn McCoy. I kind of hope he does get traded. I don't know if I really want him to go there, but the Bills are just not. They're not good. But yes, he had more production this week. Kareem Hunt, I do believe they're going to give. They're like, hey, everyone's just going to drop back and play the pass. So why aren't we going to run the ball? And that should open up that whole offense. And Kareem Hunt should definitely have some better numbers. AB, does what he should be doing. Throw that guy the ball, dude. He just catches the ball. Michael Thomas is my guy. And yeah, I suck. TJ Yeldon puts up 22.2 on me. Well played, Shauno. Congratulations. And you are my daddy. But
that's the first time I heard Shauno ever shit talk.
Yeah, and it was to me. So
and it only took 5 years.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh man! So
hey, do we have a waiver wire count on how many waiver wire moves he's made, or?
I think I can count on one hand how many waiver wire moves he's done over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not using my entire hand.
Totally agree.
So when it comes to picks, I went 3-2 this week, and I'm at 14-11. Doug is at 11-14 by going 1-5, and then Brian, you have the same record as me at 14-11 after going 2-3 this past week. The Beaties had the best performance, and then Doug comes in with a pitiful performance of 89.9 points. Get to 90, dude. So standings, Timmy's in first.
That may be why he's not on this right now.
No, he's gonna be antsy to get back on next week. Just watch.
Yeah.
So Timmy's in first. I'm in second. Tommy then follows us with Kevin. Doug is in 5th place, followed by the Beaties and Scotty. And then rounding out the bottom 3 is Sean, Brian, and Nick. This will not be the way that the season-ending standings will be, but there's a lot of teams. There's at least 3 teams out of the playoff race as of right now that should feel a little confident that they should be in the running. Brian, you're just 2 games out of this 3rd place. You know what I mean? So things can change really quick.
I mean, I am playing you this week, so that's not good.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. So bye weeks, It's pretty much only the Lions and the Saints that have bye weeks. Although Scotty's favorite player, Des Bryant, is now on his third bye week. So way to go, Scotty.
So he's just not going to be on a team ever?
Doesn't look like it.
I would have thought that he would have gotten some sort of action. But
He just
go on.
he just doesn't want to play for peanuts.
He wants money, yeah.
He wants that money, and if he's not going to play, he goes into next year. He goes into next year a year older, but a year healthier as well. So I don't think he's going to be signed. All right, so Doug's missing Kerryon Johnson and Kenny Golladay. Tommy will be without Marvin Jones. Brian, you're going to be missing your boy, Michael Thomas. Kevin doesn't have Mark Ingram and Ben Watson. Actually, he just dropped Ben Watson, so he won't ever have him again. The Beaties will be missing Drew Brees. Shauno's missing Golden Tate and LeGarrette Blount. And then Timmy will be without his best player in Alvin Kamara, along with Matt Stafford. Week 6 matchups. So the top matchups that we have for this week is Tommy versus Doug, and then me versus Brian, as we mentioned beforehand. So let's first talk about Tommy and Doug. As I mentioned, Doug doesn't have Kenny Golladay, who's really turning out to be a superstar in the making, and Kerryon Johnson will also not be playing in this game. Right now, Doug's projected to outscore Tommy, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than what it's showing right now. Tommy doesn't have anyone in his tight end spot. I think he pulled that move from Shauno, but Devontae Freeman on Doug's side, I heard something that he may not play this week. So if he doesn't play, I mean, Doug's looking at starting Mike Davis and possibly Trey Burton in his flex. Obviously, he still has his studs and Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce, and then them going against the Patriots. I mean, each one of those guys could be the top scoring guy at their position after this week. But it's pretty much those guys need to carry Doug's team this week because Tommy has some players: Marshawn Lynch, Sony Michel, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know why he has Crabtree in there. I think you should swap out Robert Woods with Crabtree and then put in Jordan Howard in his flex. But I digress. He puts in a tight end there. I think this is going to be a tighter game. With that said, and although Doug knows I hate him, I am going to take Doug in this game, but by the skin of his teeth. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I mean, looking at Tommy's team, I feel like there's some pretty favorable matchups.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a good game. I really honestly think that Denver's going to put up some fight against the LA Rams just because teams that get blown out, they usually come back and play pretty well. But yeah, you throw in a tight end, which I don't even think he has one on his team right now, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
He's going to have to make a waiver wire pickup, which I don't know who's out there, but he will have to do that. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers against San Fran. I mean, he could put up 30 easy. Yeah, and Dougie, of course, we're going to find out after Thursday night where this matchup will go. You know what I mean? It's either like we've said before, boom or bust. There's definitely a lot of possibilities of boom there. It's at New England, Kansas City at New England. So yeah, I am going to pick Tommy in this matchup. So sorry, Doug, but I'm not sorry.
Not sorry in the least. All right. So the next matchup, although the record doesn't show that this is a top matchup, I put it in there because I think talent-wise it should be there. So it's me versus Brian. I mean, my projections are such bullshit. Yeah, like they projected James Conner to score 30-plus points last week. No, they projected, I think it was like 15. So, I mean, the projections are bullshit, but as of right now, it does have me as a pretty heavy favorite to start off. But, I don't really see it that way. I do have Mixon and Conner playing in the same game. So, if game flow gets out of hand. That's two guys that, could not have a good game.
Just be slanging it around. That's going to be a good game, by the way.
I think
Real
the
good
over-under is 54. I'd love to take the under. When
Yeah?
it comes to, yeah, I mean, it's a rivalry game.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Is that on the
but
book?
anyway,
Is that on the books? Are we putting that in? Pop.
yeah, can you put me in for like 20?
Done.
And I do have, Dalvin Cook and Adrian Peterson, in my flex. I don't think either of those guys will play. But as of right now, they're in there. I'm kind of hoping Dalvin Cook doesn't play, so I could just put in Latavius Murray instead of having another Dalvin Cook game where he gets hurt and pulls a Leonard Fournette. So I want him out. Adrian Peterson, he's a boomer bust kind of player. We saw what happened last week where he scored 5 points, and then the week before that, when the Redskins played, he's put up 20-plus points. It's so boomer or bust.
Didn't AP's knee almost explode? I saw that hit multiple times, and I was like, how is he he's just flopping around?
Yeah, they said it was a hyperextension. How that was just a hyperextension, I have no idea. That guy's a freak of nature. But long story short, at least on my team, the projections show a more of a landslide than what I think it's going to be. Before I talk about your team, why don't you talk about your team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Hopefully Kareem Hunt goes off. LaShawn McCoy scores me some points. I don't know. I'm just hoping and praying. Calvin Ridley, obviously not having Michael Thomas hurts me drastically, so I'm a little light on moving some flex players around. I don't know if Calvin Ridley's going to stay in there, but maybe Isaiah Crowell could have another game like that. Highly doubtful, but I don't know, man. I don't see a win here for me, unless I get really lucky. But even I don't know, Jarvis Landry against the Chargers. That's not too great for me. We're gonna see. I'm calling it right now. Julio Jones will catch a touchdown. Hot take right there, pal.
His first touchdown in 5 years?
Yeah. The guy doesn't. He catches a bunch of yards, but no touchdowns.
Yeah, the guy's on pace for 2,000 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah, tough. So, yeah, I don't know. Are we picking? I mean,
yeah, I'll just say a couple things about your team. I think Kareem Hunt is going to go off. I don't think the Giants' defense is going to hold back the Philly offense. So, yeah, those two players going for you. AB usually has good games against Cincinnati, so you have that. I kind of disagree with Jarvis Landry against the Chargers. The Chargers' defense has actually not been that great, at least in the secondary, and it's a home game too. Baker Mayfield has actually been playing great. I think Jarvis is actually going to have a pretty good game. It's your team's depending upon Calvin Ridley, Lamar Miller, and Isaiah Crowell, and two out of three of those guys are probably not going to be starting in your lineup. So it's going to be dependent upon who you put in those positions, which will tilt things in your favor. But I'm going to take myself in this game, but not by the projected total that's out there.
And I'd be a coward to pick you, so I will pick myself. And I over the weekend I was able to meet up with the former champion to claim my belt that was not given to me at the proper time. So I feel like my projection or my record right now holds. My record right now is the reason I don't have the record right now is because I don't have the belt. So we will see an upset here for your boy.
You were struggling there a little bit.
I was struggling.
Yeah, trying to catch your words and your ideas. It just
I had so many things going on.
But all right, he's going to take himself. All right, the Limp Dick matchup this week is the Beaties versus Sean. Not because they're terrible teams. As we just mentioned before, they're actually two pretty good teams, but they are two teams that have losing records. Do you have their game up?
Yes, I do.
All right, why don't you start off?
Oh man, both of these guys are not both. Well, both of these teams are not at good standings with me personally. Finger gloves and my daddy. So, obviously the BDs look really good. Todd Gurley's good for 30. Let's say 25. Christian McCaff's. Stephon Diggs could definitely go off against Arizona. Devin Funchess. Obviously, DD needs to produce. I mean, DD had that one game against the Jets where they ran the same play over and over and over and over and over again. They need that to happen. But yeah, as for Shauno's team, I think he put in Tyler Lockett this week. He's got both Seattle wide receivers, which is probably a good matchup because Oakland's pretty shitty. So obviously he needs Tom Brady to do work. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be closer than obviously what the projections are, but I think I have to go BDs here, just because Sean talks a lot of shit now. But yeah, it's gonna be close. That's all I'll say.
I took Sean last week against you. Sorry, brother, but I think the BDs are gonna win this by a good amount. I love you, Sean, but yes, the Oakland defense is not good at all. They have zero pass rush. You know, if only they had a pass rusher, you know, on their team to start the season. I just don't know who that could have been, but I digress. But I could see Seattle run the ball like 50 times and having those two wide receivers. It's boom or bust. We've said boom or bust like 50 times now, but that's truly boom or bust. He's got Robbie Anderson in there who could have a good game. It was his first good game last week against the Broncos. He's got him in there in his flex. You know, I think he can rely on his top four players, which are Tom Brady, James White, TJ Yeldon, and Odell Beckham. If any one of those guys does not have a good game, then I don't think Shauno comes close. It could be James White. I think James White is overachieving, but in that game script, he could catch a lot of passes. Who knows? But I don't think Sean's going to win. I think the BDs, with their talent, and Diggs, McCaffrey, Gurley, Cousins. Oh, they have Cousins in there instead of Breeze. Oh, that's right. He's on bye. Gronk. Ebron has actually produced pretty damn well with Jack Doyle out of the lineup. You know, and then I don't really see much of a weakness on their team, although it will hurt them if Brandon Cooks doesn't play.
Now, do you think the BDs maybe switch in D.D. Westbrook for Corey Clement? I mean, that could be a move as well that I would think they would want to make.
I think, well, if Brandon Cooks doesn't play, then they're going to put D.D. in and then put Clement in there. But I wouldn't hate it if they put in Clement over D.D. But
did Cooks just had a concussion, or?
Yeah, he had a concussion on Sunday. So he's not cleared as of yet. But if they're going to play Clement, they got to put him in tomorrow. So if all of a sudden, you know, Cooks doesn't, you know, pass the concussion protocol, then
they got to make that call.
They missed that boat. I'm going to go BDs, and you said you're going to go BDs, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so moving on to Kevin versus Scott. Not sure if we have to do much analysis here. You know, we did say that Scotty's team has gotten better. It's turned a corner from the beginning of the year, but I mean, Kevin's team is pretty damn good. And now he also gets Mike Evans back to go along with his other wide receivers of AJ, Juju, and Alshon Jeffrey. I think that alone has him win this matchup, and that's not even counting in Saquon Barkley and Cam Newton. Don't think there's much analysis that needs to go on here. I think Kevin's going to win this game. When Scotty's starting Dante Moncrief, doesn't really help your cause out too much. Although I do think Scotty's team is going to score over 110 points. I just don't think it's going to be enough. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm firm believers that Kevin Matt's team, I don't even know whose team it is, really, to be honest with you, but
nobody knows.
They have a really, I mean, I believe they're top four lock. It's a lock, really. Top four finishing. Yeah, they got a great team. Obviously, you get your boy back, Mike Evans back. So yeah, not much to say, but I'm just for the sake of the standings, I am going to go with Scott. Dr. Scott takes his
Wow.
stethoscope out and checks the heartbeat of Kevin and his squad. Boom.
That's how it's done. Okay, he's going. He's going with Scott. Don't agree, but there's a lot of things I don't agree with Ryan on. All right,
I digress.
And then the last matchup is Nick versus Timmy.
Yikes.
The first place team against the last place team. I'm rooting for Nick. I'm rooting for Nick, but Timmy's gonna win. Nick did the league a favor by beating Kevin in a couple weeks ago, and he also almost beat you, I think, in week 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it was
you
great.
came close.
0-5.
I don't think he's really got a chance against Timmy's team, even with Timmy missing Alvin Kamara. You know, it's those. Well, now actually he only has 3 out of 4 of those top guys, and he just has Melvin, Adam Thielen, and Cooper Kupp because Alvin Kamara is out. I think Ty isn't going to play this week, so that downgrades his team a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt him all that much. He could just plug in, someone else on his bench to take over that spot. He could put in fucking Terrell Pryor, and I think he's going to be okay in this matchup.
He stinks.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He's the worst. Yeah, I mean Timmy's got a really good team. I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like he's got to have a quiet week. So I'm in for upsets this week, and I'm gonna go with Nicky Babes, the Phenoms.
The phenomenal Babes.
Yep, you heard it here first. Sorry, Tim, but I'm not sorry.
He is never sorry when he's sorry. That's a fact.
You heard it here first. Well, probably multiple times, but.
Okay, all right. So you went with a couple upsets. Doug gave me his picks. He's gonna go with himself, obviously. He likes you over me. He likes Kevin over Scotty.
Yep.
Timmy against Nick, and then what was the other match? Oh, and he's gonna take Sean over the Beauties as well.
Wow.
So we got dually upset alert teams. Be on the watch for those guys, and that pretty much wraps it up, man. That's a quick second half. Well, not really all that quick. We did ramble a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Ramble on, but yes, everyone have a good week. I don't know. I probably won't be back on because my team is terrible, but
yeah, no one really wants to listen to a guy that's 1-5.
Yeah, it's not ideal, and I probably will be 1-5. So, you guys, everyone can fuck off and have a good week.
That's a nice way of signing off. All right, thanks again, guys. We'll be here next week.
Whether you like it or not.